Yes, Renik, we can
Yes,
start in
okay.
exactly 2 more minutes. Oh, yeah, I think it's time. We can start right now. All right? Yeah. Oh, my wait feed is on. Off. Okay. All right, let's just for 2 minutes, let's close our eyes and we begin. All right. Yeah. So, can you recollect what is it that we saw last?
So, yes, sir, there are four pillars of society: the provider, the carer, the teacher, and the protector. And they all have their own duties and roles. The provider likes to manage accounts and all of that, and make sure that all the farm produce and everything reaches everyone's houses. And his friends also do similar things, like organic, like producing organic fertilizers, selling good types of crops, etc. The carers keep things neat and they care for people without any discrimination, and this is their duty.
Yeah.
The teachers have learned many different subjects and always help others if they need any help. The teachers are very helpful, and this is their nature. Protectors always know what to do at the right time. They know what how to serve the nation, and they always encourage people to serve the nation alongside them, because toward according to them there is nothing greater than the land you live on.
Yeah.
We
So
have
they have that
each of these
whaler inside
qualities
of
in
them.
us.
They have that whaler inside of them, isn't it?
Yes.
Please continue. Yeah. And we have all
And
inside of us, is it?
yes, we do.
So at sometimes we have to be the carer, sometimes we have to be the protector, sometimes we have to be also the provider, isn't it? And we also have to be the teacher sometimes. Can you think of one example when you have to play each of these roles? And we are ready to move into a very interesting chapter.
Yes, sir. So for carer, I think that when you're like sick,
Hmm.
you know that you're supposed to maintain your cleanliness so that you can recover better. And then
Okay.
you know how to do it because you've been observing your parents, like how they take care of you. So over a period of time, you understand how to take care of yourself. I think that's when the carer part comes for our own selves.
Hmm. And then
And
slowly maybe start caring for others also. It happens, isn't it?
yes, that's
Naturally.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when we are in danger, or when our body senses that we have danger, we instantly like use our hands for protection. So the protector is
Yeah.
over there. And
Yes.
when we're
We have to
trying
also
to,
protect and defend our ideals, isn't it? Many
yes,
times we have some inspiration or we sometimes we have a strong principle, but everybody is trying to crush it.
mm,
Should we allow, oh no, I'm weak? No, you can stand firm. It is something when you know it's right, that is you have to become the protector. Sometimes you have to protect your ideals, just as how you have to defend the truth. Yes, please. Go on, Reni. Nicely said.
yes, sir. So, and when we try to learn something, our mind and tries to make it easier, tries to find ways so that it'll be easier for us to learn it. So that's when the mind's acting as the teacher. But I'm sorry, I don't think I know anything for provider.
Oh,
Provider.
provider. Provider is what? Now say you're with your friends and they don't have something. If you're able to provide for something, that time, isn't it? And when you know there is a need, then you try to create a system, isn't it? So that you're continuously able to fulfill that need if it's a part of your duty. So it's like what we can say. Once you enter into that, you understand. But we also have to give, isn't it? So we can provide help, we can provide support. It's something similar to carer only. So all these four, they're not so different or distinct. They're actually very interconnected. So with this, we are ready to do what? Enter into the final chapter. So many nice lessons we saw so far. And this is one very interesting chapter. Its title is what? Nobody can teach anything to anybody. Now, how can we have a session? Yeah, how can we have a session on this? Nobody can teach anything to anybody. Can you see are you able to see the image?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please tell me what do you see here?
So over here, there are many students on the ground. They're like just looking, and there's a bunch of steps, and each on each step there is a chapter of what we have learned, as I can see. And there are
Hmm.
people helping each other get through the steps.
Okay, so there's no what we can say competition. I have to go up, so I'm not going to. I have to not let anybody else go up.
Hmm.
That is not there, isn't it? Isn't that good or is it bad? Because we are in a
So
very difficult
honestly, in my opinion,
race.
competition has two sides. The good side
Okay.
is you learn how to improve yourself, but the bad
Yeah.
side is you just do it so that you can be better than the other person, which is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. Because you're supposed to
Ah,
improve for yourself, not for beating the other person.
absolutely. Beautiful. Yes, yes. And when you understand that, then you don't have to be influenced by the bad side, isn't it?
Hmm.
And you are going to have a limit of what? Sky is the limit, isn't it? For bettering. I want to become better. How much better? There is no rule that you can become only this much better. Is there a limit on how much better we can be? No, not at all. That is exactly. If you see now these steps, you see one by one what is written on the steps. The first is about conflicts of the mind. So we have to first rise above the conflicts of the mind and then cultivate what is a right mental attitude. We saw all of this, isn't it? Then we have to become what? Free from anger and desire. Then, when we are free from anger and desire, then we are not having any unnecessary fears, isn't it? When I was very young, say I was in fifth class or fourth class, I used to be afraid of dark. I used to feel somebody would probably shoot at me from the dark. And whenever the room I used to cross, I would just start running from the dark in front of the dark room. I would never want to go there. But one day, what happened was, I went inside of a room. I was all alone, and electricity just went off. There was no backup. So that day, I had to face my fear. I came out alive. Nothing happened. So I thought, okay, so that was an unnecessary fear. So we have to rise, rise from fear just like that. We have to rise up above our anger. We can throw tantrums at our mom and dad, isn't it? Easily at home. We can say, but can you do that outside? No. And as you grow older, now just imagine I'm now 34. Can I say, no, I don't like what's happening. Staff is not listening to me. What's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing is. So we'll have to learn to control our anger also. So when we become aware, then we move further. In that time, when we start becoming aware, we learn to listen to whom? To that inner guide, the inner guide that is inside of us. And when we listen to the inner guide, it's so simple. Life is very simple that way. You feel happy, you feel joyous, and that joy has nothing to do with just the outer circumstance. You are happy and satisfied that you are progressing and growing. That is all that you need. Because when you start, you see, many times people say, no, no, I have to get this, I have to get more than this person, I have to get more marks than the other person in my class. But that's because you have a class of, say, how many people? Say 50? 20,
Around
50,
30.
60, 30. Okay, 30. In a class of 30 students, you are going to be number one among 30. But then in your school only you must be having many sections, isn't it?
So in our school, we only have three sections.
That's three. Three also. So it's like totally 90 maybe, roughly. 90 students, isn't it, in your batch, in that particular standard. But that's just in your school. Count the number of schools in your city. So many schools. Then forget your city only. Count the number of schools in so many cities in your state. Again, so many. So, how many people are you going to keep trying to become better than this person, better than that person? You will run out of profiles only. So many profiles will keep going on. You'll not be able to even if you're just focusing on somebody else. Instead, if you start progressing, if you start becoming better and better, you automatically become the example. You become the leader. People will understand, and most importantly, you will enjoy because you start learning and growing. So that is what our direction should be. So now with this, we are entering into what is the last chapter, chapter number 19. Nobody can teach anything to anybody. The workshop was complete. So what happens after the workshop is over? Everybody goes back to their own usual routine. Something like that. And the children's regular classes too began. But the students were feeling quite blank as they had got used to the sessions and were missing them. So what happened there? All the students were like, oh, now where is this class going to happen again? I'm really missing it. We had such a nice time. They went to different places, isn't it? They went to the jail once, they once went to the hill station, they went to a food court. These are all very precious memories. And the beautiful thing about memories is they don't leave us, no? But then sometimes you start missing them a lot. That's what happened now to all these students. The day's first hour was off, and so all the students were outside the class. They got together in a huddle and began talking. So what do you do when there's no class? You are there inside the classroom. Teacher has given you off. You have your own gang, isn't it? Immediately, three, four students come together and they start talking. Or sometimes some people start off the usual drama. They have to start some silly joke which makes no sense. In it, everybody starts laughing. When something like that, they did that same huddle. Was the student once said, I know yesterday's personality development class was the last one. The other one says, yes, and I'm feeling very empty today. The student, he says, me too. I want something concrete for me, which I won't forget. The other student says, fourth one has also joined. It's like now, till now, all the students were in separate groups. But now what has happened? The topic is so common for everybody. It's like 12 students are all sitting together only in that big circle and they are talking to each other. Another says, same feeling, my friend. And they're forgetting all the other whites also. My friend, I am feeling the same thing. I'm wondering how to take all these teachings that we have learned without the teacher. Because that was a special program, isn't it? It was not a regular class. So now what do we do? Another student says, can we bother our sir once more for a last message from him to all of us? Another student says, no, yeah, why trouble him? Maybe he will, another says, maybe he will not find it as a trouble. That's always nice. No one person, he gives a direction. Another student says, yes, he has always been very friendly with us, answering, answering even our slightest of questions and silliest of questions also. Another student says, and moreover, in first lesson only he had taught us not to hesitate to ask if one experience any difficulty instead of remaining confused. Now this is very interesting. They are using the same lesson, what they have learned. Yeah, he has only told, so how can he have refused? So let's go. Another one says, and moreover, this would be on the last question only. Suddenly the student sees, oh, sir is coming that side today. Silence, please. Our sir is approaching towards us. The student says, it will be better if we all ask him together. And because every time you feel that, no, alone who is going to ask? Some friend tries to push one more friend, another person tries to push. And no, I'm not asking, you better ask. They say, why don't we do it together? All of us. The teacher approaches and the students greet them. He says, hi friends, how are you all feeling? All good? And one student says, yes, sir, but we need some advice from you. How do we go ahead and face our life's questions without bothering you more? We just request for one more class. Another student says, we want to be here only. We will not bother you to take us out anywhere. Please, sir. Now he's being so nice, isn't it? No, no, don't take us to any place. Here only, we are in the classroom itself, we will have this class. Now, when I think we also behave very nice when we want something from our parents, yes or no? And when we are extra nice, do our parents refuse? Sometimes, and sometimes no, isn't it? Here
So
it's
for
yes,
me, it's
Rennie.
my parents. It says it's conditional. If you want this, you must finish this properly for this much time.
Okay, there's a clear-cut condition.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so sometimes in some places you're very, very good, and then like you don't need conditions also. You've been so nice that okay, okay, I've done too well. All right, you have got this extra. I think that's not you have not experienced that yet. All right, but let us see, Rennie. What does the teacher say? He says, no problem. I will be only too happy to comply. Let us all sit down here below this big maple tree. I know you're not going to take too much time now, as you have understood well all the principles of personality development. He is having confidence. He is having confidence in what he has taught. He says, see, I don't think you will take too much time. Why? Because you have learned. And that's a beautiful thing about learning, isn't it? When you understand something, it stays with you, no? It's like swimming or cycling. Have you learned any of this? Yes, Rini?
Sir, I have learned cycling, but if you throw me in a pool, I'd still drown.
But swimming, you've not learned it yet, isn't it? I
No.
learned it when I was in college. Actually, in my last semester, I stopped playing my favorite game and then my body was feeling very weird because I was used to exercising. Then I thought, what should I do? Then I jumped into the swimming pool. And that's how I learned. That was very much later. So if you get the time, if you get the opportunity, learn. It's a good skill to have. But it's like that. You learn it once, you don't forget it. Cycling also. Say you have been cycling regularly. And suddenly, after many years, you cycle again. It will be a part of you. Once you learn how to balance, maybe little difficulty you will have, but it's not forgotten because it's understood and your skill is imbibed, or what we can, something like assimilation takes place. That is it. So here, the teacher says, yes, so let us sit. And all of them sit where? Under a big people tree. People tree is a very special tree, isn't it? Why is it so special?
So actually, what I know is like a different legend from the
Okay.
Ramayana.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I think you may have heard this.
Hmm.
One time, Ram and Lakshman, this was long after their father's death, like they were
Okay.
in the exile. So Ram and Lakshman had to give offerings. So they were
Okay.
making food for Dashrath. And Sita's just sitting on the riverbank. And then suddenly Dashrath's ghost appeared and she was like, aren't you supposed to come later? Because his
Who
sons are
goes?
preparing.
Who goes, you say?
Dashrath was their father. He came
Yeah.
early and he said, I'm
Okay.
really hungry. Please give me something to eat.
Okay.
So Sita just made a small ball of sand and gave it. And Dashrath ate it and went off. Later, Ram and Lakshman are wondering why their father hasn't come. And then Sita
Okay.
just tells them that I've already given them a ball of sand. And then Ram and Lakshman are like, impossible, this cannot happen. Why would my father like accept a ball of sand? And then he's like, I need proof to this. And then Sita recalled, like, yes, there were a few witnesses. There was a people tree, an old man, a cow, a tulsi plant, and river Falgu. Okay?
Okay.
So to please the Lord, four of them all said lies, saying that, yes, they've all, yes, yes, it's all right. He already came, went, and all that. And no, all the time they just tried to please Ram. But only the people
Okay.
tree said that this actually happened. He came, took the sandball, ate it, and went. So
Hmm.
after listening to this, Sita was very angry and then she like cursed all of them. And then she cursed the cow, saying that it'll never be able to defend itself. Old
Okay.
people would always suffer from many like we always be frail and weak. Tulsi plants will never grow into a full tree, and the river Falgu will always have severe water shortages. But then
Okay.
she blessed the people tree so that everyone will come to you, and you'll be a epitome of spirituality and peace. So,
Okay.
which is why most of the rituals are held
Okay. Are
under a people
connected.
tree.
Okay. Nice. Wonderful story. You know, somebody even got enlightenment under that tree.
Oh yeah, Buddha.
Yes, isn't it? And it's got a very nice, yeah, it's something special, isn't it? One of the special thing about it is what it gives oxygen even at night. The percentage is less. You will learn it later in botany. So there's so many interesting aspects. It's something nice sitting under it, and that is where all these students, who knows, maybe all of them will get enlightened. We don't know. Let us see. So here, the teacher student says, "Yes, sir. We only want a few important tips on how we can proceed ahead in life. You have taught us so many important things." The teacher says, "Yes. I will tell you one more principle. Remember the basic principle. Nobody can teach anything to anybody." All blink, all scratch their head as if in choreographing properly. Everybody scratching. What is the meaning of this? We asked for a lesson. Nobody can teach anything to anybody. The student replies, "I am not able to understand, sir. Please explain." The teacher says, "See, teachers or masters always teach to all, but only a few learn. Agreed?" "Why?" he asks. "Why?" "It is because they learn, but teachers get the credit. Many students are there in class, but only a few." Yes, Rennie, please tell me. What is
So
it?
doesn't this like describe this saying you can bring the horse to the water, but you cannot force it to drink?
Ah, yes, exactly. Isn't it? It's something like that. It is the teachers teaching everybody, but only few learn. But those who learn immediately, teacher gets the credit. But they are learning why? Because they are learning, isn't it? That is important. Why? It is because they learn. But the teachers get the credit. Many students are there in class, but only a few pass with fine flying colors. The student says, "Yes, sir, right." The teacher, "It is so simple." The teacher says, "The teacher introduces the concept to all, but those who learn and follow are the right students, aren't they?" And the student says, "Yes, sir. But our problem is that how can we proceed in the absence of a teacher?" Now that is something, isn't it? I remember all of my friends in the last day of school, they were all crying. Especially one friend of mine who liked to play sports a lot. He was missing his PE teacher so much. What will I do afterwards? Something like that the students feel. How can we proceed in the absence of a teacher? The teacher says, "See, I have explained earlier that there is a presence of the universal master in the form of the inner spirit within you. If you recognize it and follow the inner instructions, all your problems will be solved." Some of the students look with wonder, but others are again scratching their head. What? There's a universal spirit that is inside of you. Recognize it, follow its instruction, all your problems will be solved. One student asks, he says, "But how, sir? What is the way? And how can we children understand this? Can you share any example?" The teacher replies, "Yes, there are many, and I am sure you too have experienced few such moments yourselves. See, many a times you open your textbook before exam and read something as per your inner feeling, and the same question appears in the paper, isn't it? Have you experienced this?" Yes, Rennie, have you experienced this, Rennie?
Yes, sir, very often I have. So today I had my Hindi exam, and
Okay,
yeah, of
today.
course,
So this
everyone
is a
was
fresh
crying about it.
experience. Huh? You're
Everyone
not?
was crying.
Okay, everyone's crying.
Every single person our grade was crying before and after the exam. So
Okay.
okay, so this is not about today's exam. A few like last year, we were
Hmm.
learning about the different crafts in India. Like this was a history lesson, trades and
Okay.
of India.
Okay.
So I remember the last word I had read of the chapter was like a form of cloth that was like all which was very popular in the all around the world, but it was produced in India. The cloth
Okay.
was patola.
Okay.
So I that was the last word I read. And I closed the book. And I opened the paper. That is also one of the first questions I see. What is
Okay.
this cloth that was like very prominent in all throughout the world? And it
Ah,
instantly came to my head. I was like, that? is spatula. And then I
Huh.
wrote it with so much speed, my hand started hurt like, after writing one word.
Okay. All right. But that link happened, isn't it? Suddenly, sometimes. So these are things in life we must understand. That's what the teacher asked. He says suddenly. And sometimes, the entire question also, you just sit, you have not completed a full syllabus and you're wondering what's going to happen. Somehow you just sit before and, okay, you just feel, let me read this concept. And then correctly the same question that you are reading has appeared in the exam paper. So it's like, wow, what a luck or what a guidance, isn't it? From the inner voice. That is exactly what the teacher is talking about. He says, that same question appears in the question in the paper, isn't it? Have you experienced this? Who suggested you to read that out before the exam? Did anyone tell you to read about that particular cloth? No. Somewhere, isn't it? Some link inside, it connected. So that is something. The student says, yes, sir, I have experienced it. And many of my friends too have got this experience. One student says, yes, sir, once I changed my road in the last minute and I took another route which I never take. But unexpectedly, I met an old friend who studies in another town on this different route. And we both were very happy to see each other as we met after a long time. I still don't understand why I took the different route. I had no specific reason for changing my usual route. So what has happened? The student has just changed the route. He does not know why he did it. Maybe absent-mindedly or maybe guided by that inner voice which is connecting everybody, isn't it? And he found his old friend who had gone elsewhere. Not something he had planned, but still. Another student says, "Sir, one day I was on my way home from school when I saw a person selling fresh guavas. They looked good, and so I brought some. When I came home, I gave it to my mother. She was surprised and happy and told me that my younger brother was asking for guavas only. She was about to go out, and at the same moment, I appeared with the same. Now, what do you call this? Random coincidence or something special? Yes, Rini?
So I would say it's a random coincidence because you don't know that
Okay.
they wanted it and they didn't know that
Yeah.
you would get it. So it
But what
just
is the
happens at the same
possibility for
time.
a person? What is the possibility for a person to get guava exactly at the same time? Is it coincidence happens when two events are just like, not really connected? But here it's connected, isn't it? One person wants the guava and you are finding it at that time. How rare is it?
Hmm.
It's something, it's more than random. And that is what we have to find out. I remember I had fought with one friend of mine and I was regretting why I fought with him after I met him after such a long time. And the next day, he boards the same bus that I'm boarding to another city. And we both sit next to each other and we patch up and we keep talking for the entire journey. Yes, Rennie, tell me something. Yeah.
So I had a question. Did you know anyone else in that bus?
Who? Hi.
Sir, like
No.
in the bus to the city, did you know
Yeah.
anyone
No,
else
no,
other
I
than me?
randomly took that bus. It was just I went to the bus stand, boarded, I went late 15 minutes early. My friend, as usual, useless person, keeps coming in last minute. So the bus started moving. He entered. Then he saw me. I also saw him. I said, hey, and he's coming next to me.
Sir, when in loneliness, all enmity is forgotten.
What?
When you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
and we didn't
anyone,
have
all enmity
enmity.
is
We just had,
forgotten.
yeah, no, no, we didn't have enmity because we're very old friends. We just
Yes,
had a
but even
difference
all your
point of view.
arguments, you'd forget them in less than a second because you're happy to see each other, no matter
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
happened between. You leave
absolutely,
that all
absolutely.
behind.
Absolutely. But you see, how did it happen? It was like some special moment, and then it was a wonderful connection. So, like that, there are moments we have to understand. We have to understand. This is what the student is saying. Like his mother was about to go out, and he came at that right time. He says, I don't know what made me buy those guavas. This person doesn't probably get guavas regularly, also, and correctly has got it that day. So, that's something like that. And that is what we are talking about. There's some inner spirit inside whom? Only inside Rennie or inside everybody else? And Rini also. What do you say? It's there?
It's always there,
Yes.
sir.
It's always there. And we have to just understand that. The teacher goes on. He says, so nice to hear. My friends, this presence of mind. You see, this is something we can understand. Maybe inner spirit we don't understand. But presence of mind, that's very logical, isn't it? That we can understand. This presence of mind comes from your inner spirit, and it is indicatory of the presence of a light that shall always guide and teach you in life. So, what is it? It is like an indicator. In chemistry, you must have heard of indicators, isn't it? Phenolphthalein indicator. You, I think methyl orange, and you mixed something. You talked about some experiment that you and your friends did.
Yes, sir, but we ended up breaking the test tubes instead.
You broke the test tube. Okay, that's indicatory of the mischief you were doing. But yes, so let's get back. This presence of mind comes from the inner spirit, which is indicatory of the presence of a light that shall always guide and teach you in your life. And when you become aware of it, you will always receive the guidance and never be alone. Because in that company, you will not feel alone at all. You will get the guidance. So, friends, the teacher says, what knowledge was passed on to me, the same I have passed on to you, along with my own experience. So, teacher says, see, this is the simplest thing. Meaning, this, the question was what? Who is going to guide, isn't it, when the teacher is not around? What's the answer, Rini, from what they have told right now?
You will have to depend on yourself and your inner voice because they always
Yeah,
teach. Yes.
and that inner voice will teach us, isn't it? This one more student, he's very happy. He says, oh, this is wonderful. Thank you, sir. The teacher says, recognizing the teacher within your heart and remembering him or her at all times with full faith will always help you, and you will remain ever confident to learn more and more. So, this is something we can underline or we can think about it always. Recognizing the teacher within your heart, remembering him, her at all times with full faith, you will always receive the help, and you'll also remain confident to learn more and more. Recognize that teacher inside of you. The student asks, yes, sir. Any final permanent guidelines, sir? The student's not feeling like the session should end. One more line, please. Teacher says, good question. See, we always work individually for individual gains and get a little out of it. But if you work for yourself as well as others collectively, the whole world will be benefited. This is beautiful, isn't it? Just for yourself, when you work, you're going to get a little bit only. But when you're working for yourself along with the world, you see, everybody is going to get benefited. One student says, how? How, sir? The teacher replies, think and work for nation building. When you are strong, nation becomes strong, and all four pillars become strong. So always think of the nation. It will give you a vast vision and motivation to work for all to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, and live a life where none shall have to experience pain and sorrow. If you try to work for bettering the world, is there a limit to that? To bettering the world? Can you run? Oh, I have bettered the world now. Now I don't have anything to do. Yeah, okay, Viona has messaged she's late, but no problem, Viona. Can you turn on your video feed? If you want, you can join with the video feed on, no problem. So there is no limit. There's no limit to bettering the world, something like that. When you try to do things, don't do it just only for yourself. Think about the world and try to do. So yes. So Vian, are you better today?
Yeah.
All right, very nice. Let's continue. Yes. Think about like for example, nation building. People work, no? They work for making the world a better place, making the country a better place. We saw the examples. I think Rennie gave a beautiful example about soldiers, how they work. They want to protect the country. They want others also to learn and become strong like them. Is that selfishness? Just thinking about self? No, it's thinking about everybody also, isn't it? And because they do that sacrifice, because they protect everyone, we are able to enjoy freedom. It's something like that. The student says, thank you, sir. We feel blessed with your last message. This gives us a limitless motivation, and we all take a pledge to become worthy citizens of our nation. Please accept our sincere regards and love forever. The students have taken this message. We say, yes. What is that final message? Yes, I'm going to become better. I'm going to work for myself. I want to become stronger, but not just myself only. My strength will be used for bettering the world. Whatever wisdom I'm going to gather, I'm going to use that for bettering the world. If you do that, then you will actually start making the world really a better place. Little, children only have decided, I don't want to accept this, or I want to break a change. And then they become big heroes and heroines. How does it start? By individuals only. They start and then it becomes a movement, isn't it? It's like that. We look at now the points to remember of the chapter 19. So this chapter is now complete. Let us just look at the points to remember. Okay, then you know who has written this book, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, so after finishing the points to remember, I think we can meet who has written the book. You would like to meet them?
Yes, sir,
Would you like to meet
absolutely.
him? All right, so let's see. I will just finish the points to remember. Let's try to remember it, and then we can interact with Damliji, who has written this book. He was very interested in listening to the workshop, so he came today to listen. Points to remember number one, teachers. Our duty is to learn. That is our duty. My teacher is teaching like this or like that. That teacher made a face while teaching this theorem. All these are not important. When you want to learn, whether the teacher is having a style of talking this way or that way, it's not our problem, isn't it? Our aim is what? To learn. And that's where we focus upon. Then second, point number two, recognize the inner teacher. Yes, there are teachers, there are going to be friends, there are going to be people who are going to guide us. But at the same time, we have to recognize that teacher who is inside of us. Number three, remember the teachings of the teacher, and even in his or her absence, you will feel your teacher's presence. This is a very beautiful lesson, actually. Even in the absence, if you remember your teacher, it's like you're having a company of the teacher with you. I still remember some of my teachers, especially my English madam. She used to really give me a difficult time. She made me learn Ren and Martin properly because she would catch me. But because she's there, I was very confident that I can talk. So remembering your teacher, even in the absence, you will feel the presence of your teacher. You feel that confidence, you feel that gratitude. Now I'm not afraid of talking anywhere because yeah, I am a student of this teacher. She's taught me. That is something. Then one more. One has to grow and contribute in nation building. If you don't contribute to the nation building, what's going to happen? Think of a big fat termite who is eaten up everything. What's going to happen to that? Nothing. And there's going to be nothing for anybody, isn't it? Instead of that, we are going to actually contribute to make the nation a better place. One has to grow and contribute in nation building. Working for the betterment of the nation and its peoples can become a source of endless motivation in life. I want to make the world a better place. This very attitude itself gives you strength. Whether or not, whether or not people are appreciating, whether or not people are acknowledging, whether or not you're getting the support or not. Many times, sometimes people appreciate you, feel happy, isn't it? And then nobody's appreciating what I did my work, nobody's appreciating. Now I'll stop doing the work. That is when your work is driven only by your personal desires. So it is something like that. And the last, remember all the points that you have learned. So with this, our Learning Through Nature workshop is complete. And now I think I will invite our founder, who is the founder of Midam Foundation, and also who has written this book. Yes.
Hari Om, Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
So, Vyevna has come. I know her, Vinny. Introduce yourself.
ये तो दिसते.
किसका नाम क्या है?
Reni and
Yes, sir.
Viona.
My name is Reni.
Reni. So, how do you find this book and teaching?
It's
Sir,
very
okay.
Huh?
it's very fun and it's interesting to learn, and the teaching was very good. I liked it so much.
So nice, so nice.
Yes, Reni, you were saying?
Yes, sir. So sorry. Sir, I would like to say that your book is very informative and provides exactly what I would be needing for my future decision making, because I was feeling I was lacking many of these skills, and now I have realized how to gain them and how I can use them for the better of myself and the world around me. And I think these sessions were very interactive and very nice, and I really enjoyed this class and workshop.
Yes, it is always there because there are many books. Huh? We read books, then we try to understand. But this way, if there is a dialogue between the teacher and student, so many questions which are there in our mind are asked by the students only. So this class is that way interactive, receiving less questions from students. Only if teacher wants to elaborate on some point, then it is needed, he elaborates. So it is very nice. I was very happy that children are coming, and even one child comes because we started with very few. Our other course also, Krishna's Bhattara, very few. We never bothered. As he rightly said, that you start a moment, people will join. We never asked them, we never tried to retain them. And all those who are working for this project or Krishna's Better project, all are mothers. They're good teachers. I do agree. So, all those mothers, they are working mothers, housewives, they have children, they have their other family members. Looking to all of them, they find time because they get joy in teaching. You see, in Sanskrit, it goes like this: Yavat aham janami, tavat aham pathayami. Whatever I know, I like teaching it to my friend or my brother or my sister, and then we all enjoy. So the class is like that, and very nice. So take these principles throughout your life, because I have seen that even elders are taking interest in reading this book. All my teachers of Krishna's Bhattar or learning through nature, they enjoy this. I have seen in one training program, a big school was there, and some 25 and odd teachers were there. So I requested them to attend one session online and discuss what is the book. So there my message was that you are all mothers, and this is my experience that all mothers are teaching well to children. But one message from my side, that you are mothers at home, but when you come to teach, you become a teacher. And then your personality changes. You have a different way of talking, different personality. From outside, it is okay. But from inside, you have to change into a mother again in the school. So you remain with yourself for all the time. You don't have to make any changes. One conscious everywhere, one approach everywhere. So no difference. And all those teachers were so happy. 1 hour and they were very successful. So when you learn, you try to see that you pass it on to others. So this is all. I'm very happy. So I don't want to make you late. Huh? With all my good wishes, thank you very much. See you.
So, thank
Shubharatri.
you, sir.
Good night.
You too,
All
sir.
right, then 2 minutes
Sir,
we'll
thank you, sir.
close our eyes as usual. Okay, let's close our eyes for 2 minutes. No looking here, there, no scratching your head. If you open your eyes, I will not tell you to close your eyes again tomorrow. All right, 30 more seconds. Okay. All right, then. Bye bye. All the very best.
Thank you, sir. You too, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you have any queries, you are most welcome to contact anytime. All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Thank you
Bye.
very much,
All the
sir.
best for your exams also.
Oh, thank you
Yes.
very much, sir.
Take care. All
Very
right then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bye bye.